Hey everybody, welcome to yet another Washington Football Maniacs video. Welcome for everybody who is new here, and welcome for everybody who is returning here as well. If you're enjoying the channel, please try to consider hitting that subscribe button. It really does help this channel out, and your views, of course, always helps this channel out. And one thing I just want to point out, I found this on eBay. How do you like that shirt, folks? Love it, love it. Hey, I'm trying to stick with my Redskins roots along with, of course, trying to adapt to the Commanders stuff as well. So, baby steps, right? Anyway, so the video the other day we were talking about Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett being the most pro-ready quarterback out of all of the other quarterbacks in this year's NFL draft. Now his hands is, the size of his hands has been the biggest question mark that everybody has talked about. And of course, they measured his hands and they came in at 8.5. And just for contrast, Joe Burrow's hands were measured at 9 inches. So half an inch difference. Is that going to turn out to be a huge difference come game day? I don't know. But at any rate, that has been the biggest knock on Kenny Pickett. But at any rate as well, today we want to talk about Malik Willis. Now, Malik seems to be having a great combine. I saw one video of him. Man, that dude has a strong arm. He plays for the Liberty Flames out of Lynchburg, Virginia. One of my friends, Dale, he is a huge fan of Liberty. I think he went to school there. Just big fans, of course. He would love nothing more than for Malik to get drafted high. And of course, he's a Dallas Cowboys fan, so he would hate for him to go to the Washington Commanders. But at any rate, Malik is having a great combine. So the question is, would Malik be a good pick at number 11? He's very athletic. Ron Rivera met with Malik for a little bit, and, Willis had a lot of similarities with Ron Rivera as to what Cam Newton had when Ron Rivera met with him back in, I believe it was 2011, when Cam Newton got drafted by the Carolina Panthers. So a lot of similarities, a lot of excitement in terms of, looking at gameplay, things like that. Just looking at the game film, I should say. Just very more mature. A lot of people, and I don't know why people do this, but it's like they're comparing him to Dwayne Haskins, and I think it really comes down to skin color. Dwayne Haskins was black, he didn't work out. Oh, Malik Willis, he's black too. Well, it didn't work out with Dwayne, so why would we pick another, Dwayne Haskins? Get off the skin color, man. I mean, come on. We all bleed red on the inside. We all should be one race, human race, right? So Malik Willis, I tell you, he seems like he's a very mature young man. There's another video of him giving to his homeless person. He didn't have anything to give. He didn't have any money. I mean, he's a college kid, right? Didn't have any money, so he gave the person some t-shirts. I mean, it's like you don't have anything to give, you give love, right? And just a fine young man, but he's very excited about football, and he just wants to get better. He's got the right attitude. And I tell you, that's one thing that you need if you're going to go to this franchise, the right attitude. The willingness to get better, to work hard. I mean, you can say all the right things. You definitely have to back it up as well. And we'll have to see if Malik Willis has the ability to back that up. Now, he doesn't have as good of a QBR rating as what Kenny Pickett does. And he's probably not as pro ready is what Kenny Pickett is, and that would be my knock on Malik Willis. Um, he's not coming out of a very big program, of course. Liberty is a good school. It's a good football program, but certainly not as pro ready. And that's what concerns me. That would be the reason why I would personally pick Kenny Pickett. Is I need someone who's more pro ready, because it sounds like that guy is probably going to be starting from day one, honestly. And if he is, we can't have someone extremely raw. And I don't know. I mean, you look at Willis's stats. Of course, he didn't really start until 2020, but he had some good numbers that he put up for the past couple of seasons. 27 touchdowns. He did have 12 interceptions in this past year. Threw for just a little bit under 3,000 yards. Not bad at all. I think Kenny Pickett, on the other hand, if I could find his slide, of course you can see the stark contrast. He threw for over 4,000 yards, 4,300 yards, 42 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. I mean, just an unbelievable 2021 season. Again, his knock on him is his hands. He's slightly bigger than what Malik Willis is. He comes in at 6'3", 220. Malik Willis, 6'1", 215. So not a huge difference. A couple inches taller, about 5 pounds heavier, but really, probably built basically about the same, maybe. Still, I mean, I think it's going to be a toss-up between the two, honestly. I really think these two gentlemen are the two that Washington is looking very hard at drafting. I know that others are going to say how, and I've probably mentioned in a video that I did on, there's a short little video on the Vikings channel. I'll have to see if I can find that link and put it to this video, that I think I may have picked Sam Howell, but a lot of that was because or I either picked Howell or picked Willis. I'll have to go back and see. A lot of that was because the guys before me had already picked the other picks I had, said I was going to choose. It was going to be like no-brainers. And but honestly, realistically, these are the top two guys that I think I would look at. Honestly, coming down for me, it really comes down to who is the most pro-ready, and I really think that would be Kenny Pickett. Now, who has the higher ceiling? That is where it really comes down to. Does Malik Willis have the higher ceiling as opposed to Kenny Pickett? Now, that's the question. I'm not sure. I think it really depends on how well we are going to be with developing quarterbacks. Back in the days of having Sean McVay on the team, O'Connell, guys like that, Kevin O'Connell, who could really help to develop quarterbacks. When we had guys like that, we were able to really develop Kirk Cousins into a fine quarterback. And no, I'm not starting that debate, but just to say that if we have a good coaching staff who can really develop quarterbacks, then it may be worth it if you have a quarterback who's a little bit more raw but has a higher ceiling. You draft that guy. But I think you also have to look at free agency. And, as much as you say you don't want a bridge quarterback and you don't see guys like Mitch Trubisky being a bridge quarterback, you really are. I think you really are. Because when you do use that first-round draft pick to draft a quarterback, any quarterback that is a veteran quarterback you pick up, or a quarterback that you're going to be starting over that first rounder, really is a bridge quarterback at that point. Unless you're in a situation that, some of these teams back in the day, unique situations where, such as the Packers were back years ago when they had Favre and they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Favre was not considered a bridge quarterback, but he was considered getting to the twilight of his career. And so they wanted to have Aaron Rodgers, in there and ready to go. And probably the same way that Bill Belichick was thinking with Jimmy Garoppolo back in the day when, he drafted him with Tom Brady. We saw how that kind of worked out, though. So, all in all, I think in our situation, though, anybody who we start above the rookie is going to be a bridge quarterback, because we are drafting that rookie for the sole purpose of being the future of the team and the near future, if not the immediate future. So by saying that, if we use a first rounder this year, then I would say that guy is probably going to be starting. And if he's going to be starting, then you have to come down and say it's probably going to be Kenny Pickett because he's the most pro-ready. Now, if his ceiling is not going to be as high, and that's still debatable, who is it going to turn out to be compared to what you see out in the field right now? Some people said he may turn out to be the equivalent of a Matt Stafford. And if that turns out to be the case, I'm fine with that. Matt Stafford has always been a great quarterback. He has been on horrible teams in Detroit. And, of course, you send him to a good team, and what happens? He wins the Super Bowl. So, I'm fine with that. It doesn't have to be a Tom Brady. It doesn't have to be a GOAT. He has to be a good quarterback. He has to be a good, solid quarterback who can get your team to the Super Bowl. And in the past, you look, when Washington won their 3 Super Bowls, they won it with 3 different quarterbacks, neither of whom you would say were franchise, GOATs by any stretch of the reason, Hall of Famers. Joe Theismann, I don't know if he was a Hall of Famer or not. I have to go back and check. I don't think Joe Theismann is a Hall of Famer. I know John Riggins and some of those guys back in those days were. I don't think Joe Theismann was. I know Mark Rippon isn't. Doug Williams, if he's a Hall of Famer, I don't know. I can't remember now. It's what happens when you get closer to 50, right? But all in all, we just need a good, solid quarterback that we can depend on, who we can say is a franchise quarterback, but a quarterback nevertheless that can get this team into the playoffs year in, year out, gives us a chance to get into the Super Bowl. And that's what we really need, consistency from that position. So that being said, Malik Willis, Kenny Pickett, who do you guys got? Either one. I really think probably if we're going to use that first round pick for a quarterback, it's going to be either one of those guys. If either one of those guys actually drops to number 11, I feel like one of those guys will be available at number 11. I really do. That being said, what do you think? Let me know in the comments section below. And again, if you're enjoying this channel, please consider subscribing. Share these videos with the other friends. Leave me a comment. Like this video, please. Get this video out. Do what you can to support this channel. I'll try to have some merchandise out here as well at some point. Just try to support this channel the best you can. I'll try to support you, and guess what? Hell to the Washington Commanders. Hey, hell to the old Washington Redskins. Let's go, Maniacs. I'll see you in the next video.